Hello everyone, thank you all for tuning into today's case. Today's case is going to be on Krystal Beslanowitch. Krystal's dead body was mistaken as her half-sister Tracy's. The girl's battered and bloodied body was located a few hours after she went missing from Salt Lake City, Utah. The brutal and cold-blooded murder terrified the local community as law enforcement tried their best to get to the bottom. According to authorities, Krystal Beslanowitch was a 17-year-old who arrived in Utah just 5 months before her death. She was originally from Spokane, Washington, and among her known relatives, she had a mother, a stepfather, and a half-sister, Tracy. At the time of her murder, Krystal was also dating a boy called Chris, and the police believe she was into prostitution. On December 14th, 1985, Krystal told her boyfriend that she would be stepping out to buy some food. However, when hours passed without any sign of Krystal, her boyfriend got worried and began looking around for her. Krystal's boyfriend, visited several neighborhoods and went to the local shop where Krystal claimed to have gone, but Chris was unsuccessful in locating her. The following morning, the police received reports that ranchers had noticed the body of a young woman lying on the bank of the Provo River, almost 45 miles away from Salt Lake City. Police rushing to the scene discovered the victim was deceased and laying naked. Her body was completely battered, and her shoulders and her head were bleeding profusely. An autopsy determined that the cause of death was blunt force trauma. However, the blows were so forceful that the victim's face was bashed in and almost unrecognizable. Pieces of blood-covered rocks were recovered from the scene, and officers found the victim's socks nearby. Judging by the bruises on Krystal's body, authorities concluded that the rocks might have been used as a murder weapon. The lack of identification and the facial injuries did not let the police identify the body immediately. They noticed that the victim had two very distinct tattoos on her body. The description of the tattoos were released to the media, and shortly after, Chris contacted the police claiming his girlfriend Tracy might be the victim. However, when the police got in touch with Tracy's family, they were informed that while Tracy was alive and well, her stepsister Krystal was known to take over her identity. As a result, Chris knew his girlfriend only as Tracy and not by her real name. With this, the victim was identified as Krystal Beslanowitch. Initially, the police had numerous suspects on their list, including the boyfriend Chris. Authorities were suspicious of Chris as he had falsely identified the victim's body. However, the investigation discovered that Chris neither had the motive nor the means to carry out the murder. It was also mentioned that a local taxi driver was taken up with Krystal and appeared quite possessive. Still, he too was ruled out because of lack of DNA evidence. For years, the case sat unsolved until in 2008, officers decided to send the DNA evidence for further examination. The subsequent report declared the presence of a foreign DNA sample on the rocks, but it did not match any pre-existing ones in the database. But they scored a direct hit this time, and the foreign DNA was a perfect match to Joseph Michael Simpson, who was already in the database. Confirmed that they had the perpetrator, authorities then arrested Joseph Michael Simpson and charged him with the murder. So where is Joseph Michael Simpson now? According to reports, Joseph had committed another unrelated murder in 1987 and was out on parole when he murdered Krystal. Joseph pleaded not guilty but was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. To this day, Joseph remains incarcerated in the Central Utah Correctional Facility in Gunnison, Utah. This case is obviously heartbreaking, but it does end with a good ending because I feel like Krystal finally got justice because her murderer was charged and sentenced to life, even though it is still heartbreaking that she was still so young when her life was taken. At least she got some kind of justice. Thank you all for tuning in to today's video. I hope you all have a nice day.